They shoved her toward the exit as if she were a stain on the carpet, this simple woman in a faded dress, holding a handmade clutch that didn't match the glamour around her. Guests whispered, laughed, and snapped photos as the security guards pushed her out. "People like you don't belong here," the organizer sneered. But minutes later, the hall froze when a black car screeched to a stop outside, and the billionaire whose name funded the entire gala stormed in demanding one thing: "Where is my wife?" What happened next changed his life, and theirs, forever. Before we begin, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Tales and Turns. And tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Your support truly means the world to us. She hadn't even wanted to attend the gala. Crowded rooms made her nervous, and flashy events were never her style, but her husband insisted she at least see the charity project they were secretly funding. So she wore her simplest dress, one she cherished because it was the last thing her mother had sewn before she passed. She thought kindness and humility would be enough. She didn't realize the gala's organizers valued labels more than hearts. From the moment she stepped inside the hall, she felt the sting of judgment. Women dripping in diamonds glanced at her, whispering behind silk fans. Men in tailored suits stared as if she had wandered into the wrong world. When she moved aside to let a waiter pass, a woman snapped, "Watch it," loud enough to catch everyone's attention. The simple woman apologized softly, unaware that this tiny mistake would be twisted into something far worse. As the night went on, rumors spread like wildfire. Someone claimed she had snuck in. Another insisted she was a thief. By the time the organizer approached her with that tight, fake smile, she already knew something bad was coming. "May I see your invitation?" he asked, loud enough for nearby guests to hear. She searched her purse desperately but realized she had left it in the car when she rushed in late. The organizer's smile sharpened. "Of course you did," he said, dripping with sarcasm. Security guards were called immediately. They grabbed her arm, not violently, but firmly enough to show they believed she didn't belong. People pulled out their phones, some filming, others laughing. "Throw her out already," someone shouted. Her cheeks burned, but she didn't resist. She had lived a humble life long before she met her husband. She could handle humiliation. But what hurt her most was that no one, not even one person, asked her side of the story. Outside, the cold air hit her harder than the shame. She stood on the stone steps, trying not to cry, telling herself she would explain everything once her husband finished his meeting upstairs. She didn't want to disturb him. She didn't want him to think she couldn't handle one night on her own. But as she stood there shivering, headlights swept across the driveway. A sleek black car rolled in fast, too fast for a normal arrival. The door flew open before the car even fully stopped. Her husband stepped out, breath sharp and eyes blazing with panic. "Where is she?" he demanded the moment he reached the entrance. Guests inside watched in confusion. The organizer rushed to greet him, sweating. "Sir, we didn't expect you so," but the billionaire silenced him with a raised hand. "My wife arrived an hour ago," he said. "Where is she?" The organizer's face drained of color. Murmurs spread like lightning through the hall. When her husband finally saw her standing outside, arms wrapped around herself for warmth, something inside him broke. He hurried to her, placing his coat around her shoulders, anger radiating from him like heat. "Who did this?" he asked softly, voice trembling. She shook her head, not wanting to cause trouble. But he stood tall, turned toward the entrance, and walked back in with her hand in his. And just like that, the crowd parted in stunned silence. Inside the hall, whispers turned into gasps as the truth unfolded. The same organizer who mocked her now looked as if he wished the floor would swallow him whole. "You threw my wife out," the billionaire said coldly. "The woman who funds the very charity you boast about." The organizer stammered apologies, but the billionaire wasn't interested in excuses. For years he had admired his wife's humility, but seeing her humiliated ignited a fire he couldn't contain. Guests who had laughed earlier now bowed their heads, avoiding her eyes. But her husband didn't care about their shame, he cared only about her. He led her to the center of the hall. Whispering, "You belong anywhere you want to be." And though she didn't speak, her soft smile said everything. She wasn't angry, just disappointed that people still judged worth by appearance instead of soul. The rest of the night unfolded differently. People approached her with apologies, some sincere, some desperate to save their reputation. But what truly changed the billionaire's life forever wasn't their regret, it was realizing just how strong, patient, and quietly powerful his wife was. She had endured humiliation with grace he wasn't sure he possessed himself. Standing beside her, he felt humbled. And from that night on, he made a promise to never let the world's cruelty reach her again, and to use his influence to create events where kindness mattered more than couture, where hearts were valued above handbags. People would remember that gala for years, not for its luxury, but for the moment they learned the simple truth. The simplest woman in the room was the one who carried the greatest worth.